All right, so here is a disgusting looking formula. They can come actually in a few different forms. I'm going to give you the simplest form, but know that there are things that do the same thing that look a little bit different, but they all mean the same thing. I've got some variables that are represented by letters here. So that's a formula that we're going to use a little bit. What this formula allows us to do is, right now we're really happy when we're dealing with like 1 half-life, 2 half-life, 3 half-lives. Let's say the half-life was 1 hour. Can we currently deal with a time of 1 hour and a half? Or 2.5 hours, or 3 hours and 23 minutes? We can't deal with that right now, can we? So this equation allows us to deal with more specific values, and we can find unknowns. We just need to identify what each of these letters or symbols stands for. And it should be pretty relatively obvious for this one. What do we think that T stands for?
Time.
Very good. H?
Hours. Half-life.
Half-life. I said that T over H can sometimes be represented as N instead. So sometimes you'll see this equation written as A equals A naught times half to the power of N. What do you think N represents then? Time over half-life, which would be the? Number of half-lives, and that's not how we spell lives, but that's what we're going to do with that. So if you had a half-life of 3 hours, say, and you had 9, if it asked you the amount after 9 hours, it would be 9 over 3, which would give you 3 half-lives. I could also ask you, what's the amount remaining after 3 half-lives? Same thing. Cool?
Yeah.
So I like to learn this one because I can figure it out regardless, but if you want to put both down, no problem at all. That leaves us with two values we don't know. What do you think that is?
Oh, it's still got something in it. Positive amount, negative
Total
amount.
amount.
Total. What do you reckon that 0 means?
End amount. No amount. Beginning.
Good. Sometimes represented as AI. It's the initial amount. Which would make the other A what? I asked what the 0 stands for. I should answer the question. 0 is saying at time equals 0. When time is 0, that's the initial amount, correct? So that's what that 0 stands for. And that final amount. Very good. So I should be able to ask you here, given we started with 400 grams, tell me the amount that we would have after 10 half-lives. Use the equation to find the answer. You will need to use your calculator.
Which is a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fine?
You don't need to. I said after 10 half-lives.
This is my fault. You don't need that thing. You gotta put the very thing. And I'm at 0.2. So rounding is 0.
Well, we're 5 to the power of 10.
To get